Hello. Hello, are you able to understand me? Yes, you are? Oh, amazing. It's been a laborious process in order to get this language correct. In my research, I've seen that speaking in this way is meant to make humans feel less stressed in environments. And given the nature of how you got here, you might not remember. And that is probably for the best. But I thought that this would probably be the best way to communicate. Language isn't really something that we've ever encountered before. But I'm pleased to welcome you to this university. I am a professor. Our student should be arriving soon. You may notice that you're unable to move. That's it's only for a short period. We're just going to give a very quick lesson, and then I will put you back onto Earth, and you won't remember a thing. It'll be okay. In fact, here are some of the students. Hello, guys. Hello. Yes. Feel free to take a seat. Amazing. I'm glad to see so many of you here today. Yes, if we could just speak quietly although the human might be immobile, we'd like to keep them at least in a docile state. We don't really want to make them upset, for they are our esteemed guest. Yes. For reference, class, how I am communicating with the subject right now is through language, and that is the prime way humans communicate with each other. While we're able to communicate through symbiosis, for them, ideas have to be spoken aloud. Yes, isn't that so intriguing? It's been a principal research objective of the university to be able to understand language, and I'm very glad to be able to present this groundbreaking lecture to you all today. Our first lecture is going to talk about, let's see what's on the agenda. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about the outward appearance of the human. So we can see. Amazing. So let's start off very, very basic. Although we are particles that have clung together, that would be how the human would understand us, at least. To the human right now, we look like something in their form, but that's just so they can kind of have a bit more understanding, and everything is not so alien for them. But humans have what is called a bone structure, which is what keeps them upright. Their particles are bounded within them in something called skin, which is very, very interesting. So they don't have freedom of movement like us. They are basically bags of fluid that are prevented from falling in on each other by these bones. Isn't that very intriguing? Yeah, so feel free to make notes. I know that I would be. You will be examined on this, so I would advise you to make the notes. Good. Now, humans sustain themselves by use of the sun, which is how we came to know of them in the first place. The sun's radiation is used by plants on their planet, and the humans brutally eat these plants for energy, so they steal the energy of the sun. And these plants provide them energy in the form of calories. Isn't that interesting? Calories are how they move, so if the human was to move right now, they would be burning calories. Yes, it's a system of give and take that we as particles do. Really, we have no need for fuel. It's odd, isn't it? It's odd. It's the various shortcomings of having a bounded body. Humans also cannot regulate this consumption, so it is very, very odd. Yes, write that down. And this is why we have got an average-sized human today. But if humans don't consume enough of these calories, they will become very small in length. And if they consume too many of them, they will become very, very wide in width. They will become very, very wide. Which is very odd, very odd. It's a real phenomenon of the race. If they don't consume enough of these calories, they will progressively get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Isn't that interesting? So please, if you're trying to analyse the bone structure of the subject, please do not starve them, because if they don't get enough food, they will become permanently unresponsive test subjects. And we have tried very, very hard at this university in order to get a subject in the first place. So if our subject was to perish quite quickly, that would be quite unfortunate. Anyways, let us move on. In their physical body, given that they are a bounded species, humans have 4 of what they call limbs, which they use to move, for they do not float. They have to interact with the physical world of Earth. They also, interestingly, possess an extra sense to us in the nose. Humans are able to experience what they call aromas. Now, we are able to analyse these aromas, but it's very interesting that the human experiences them in a very different way to us. However, humans can only see through their eyes. Do you see the 2 eyes? I'm pointing at them on my representative body. Those are the eyes. Those are the eyes. And what I'm currently moving is the hands. The fact that humans have to use eyes gives them a very narrow view that only goes slightly in front of them. They can see slightly from side to side, but this is nothing like our 360-degree vision. And given that we can see in all directions for up to a kilometre, humans have a very narrow perception of the world. Although, one of the main things you may notice is that the human's processing power in relation to us is very, very small. Their processing power is located solely in the head, which is that circular, spherical bit of their exterior near the top of the body. That is called the head. That is also where the eyes are, and where their last sense is. is our, just like our technology, able of processing waves into audible sound. So the humans are able to, on a very primitive level, convert these waves through their ears, although we do that through technology. So we have rendered that very unnecessary. It's worth emphasising that for humans, they can't pick up on the electric gamma rays of the universe like we can through our technology. It's incredibly primitive. Because humans are in these cell sacks, they can't move through objects, and so they occupy very, very distinctive spatial positions that are very separate from each other, which makes them, rather than our symbiosis as a collective, they are very unique, and think of themselves as individuals. While they might be human, they are also something else. That's definitely something that we will expand on in advanced classes, for that is part of human culture. So, as a principle, one of our research goals is human culture. But for now, we will just be learning about the basics. Given they aren't a collective, the lack of cooperation might be why they are so many millennia behind us, for we surpassed this stage many, many, many moons ago. But the musings are for another day. We'll keep going with the observation. Now, the majority of humans, let's use an example, come in two distinct forms. You've got the female and the male. Although they are both of similar size, they have a little bit of difference. Do you hear that? Those different sounds represents the difference of the humans. It's very interesting. But this is not all humans, but this is the vast majority. Yes, write that down. It will also be in the exam. However, it's important to note that you'll be examined on the shared features. For although being male and female means humans are slightly different in terms of their physical structure, that makes it a lot more complicated. And so we will only be examining you in this basic class about the features they share. Yes. Now, no, you cannot see all of their physical structure, and that's a very astute observation. Well done. Remember, it's important to keep the human relaxed by speaking at this volume. It's very important. You may notice the human is wearing something they call clothes. For them, it's vitally important. They attach great importance to having these clothes on, and they're very uncomfortable without it. It is very odd. Clothes also mean they lose less heat energy, and so they need less of the sun's solar radiation to power them. So for them, clothes are a kind of power conservation. Yes, they are quite astute in that respect. Maybe we should find something in order to keep our particles from deteriorating. Yes, generating new ones is quite the difficult process. The last thing that I think will be important for us to talk about as a class is what you will notice is at the top of what we identified as the head earlier is hair. This is a very odd phenomenon which is nothing like skin and seems to grow whether the human wills it to or not. Humans also manually shape it for their appearance. It's important for them. It affords them quite a diversity, perhaps like the individual that we do not get as the collective. If only there was a way to make our particles look different from each other, perhaps that would be quite an interesting concept for one of you to look at as a dissertation. Anyways, class, thank you for coming today. It seems to me that I'm missing a few essays from quite a few of you, so if you could get them in, please. Yes. Yes. You want an exam? Okay. Well, if you could write up the notes for this class and send them to me, that would be very much appreciated, and I will give you feedback based on your attention. And I hope to see you back next week for the next class in this basic series. Thank you very much for coming. Yes, see you next time.